Welcome back once again to another lesson at DHK. I hope you are perfect with the German alphabet from the last lesson. That lesson also had a test in its description, so if you seek a certificate, make sure you submit the tests in the description of every video. Today we are going to learn the numbers in German, so without wasting any time, let's dive right in. Believe me or not, but you need to know only these 16 unique German numbers to be able to learn all the others. The rest are all either completely dependent on these 16 numbers or are very intuitive and constructed in a manner very similar to English numbers, and you will have no difficulty whatsoever in remembering them. You will see that for yourself very soon. The very basic numbers are from 0 to 10. Just like English, almost every other number after 10 will be based on these numbers, so it is imperative that you know these perfectly well before you go ahead. Since you have already done the German alphabet, pause the video here and try to pronounce the numbers on your screen and grade yourself as soon as I start saying them. Okay, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The keyword for this lesson is 9, the German 9. Make sure you note it down. To know more about keywords and free certification, watch our introductory video linked in the description. You can also open the registration form in the description and scroll to the end to watch the video. You can now pause the video again and learn these numbers thoroughly because they are important. I hope you're perfect with the numbers starting from 1 to 10. Let's move on. When it comes to 11 to 20, the numbers 11 and 12 are exceptions or unique numbers just like English. More specifically, they do not sound so intuitive, and you just have to remember them the way that they are. However, the numbers from 13 to 19 are very intuitive, and finally we have 20, another unique number which you have to remember. You may pause and try pronouncing them by yourself first and then listen to me. So, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. As I said, you have to remember 11 and 12. 13 to 19 is pretty intuitive. It's the number from the units place first, followed immediately by 10. The numbers in the unit place are 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9, and they are simply followed by 10. Note that in case of 16 and 17, the last S from 6 and AN or EN from 7 are omitted. I think that this is done to make the pronunciation of 16 and 17 more intuitive and simple. Also, note that most German words that end with ig or ig are pronounced differently than you would think in different parts of the country. 20 can be 20 or 20. I guess you can see it either way, and it shouldn't be a problem because it is almost always very obvious what you're trying to say. Feel free to pause the video to go through everything once again, because this is just the beginning and we are not going to stop here. But don't worry, it only gets easier here onwards. In German, und means and. After 20, the order of spelling the numbers is still the same as that for 13 to 19, except we add an und between the units place number and the tens place number. It goes like this: 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. You now have You now have a good idea of how numbers are constructed in German. 11 to 20 was slightly similar to English, but after 20 it is the opposite order, that is from right to the left. So technically 21 is actually 1 and 20, making it 21. 22 is 2 and 20, making it 22. Note that 30 is another unique number with an SZ instead of Z. However, all rules still remain the same. So we have 31, 32 and so on until 39 or 39. Moving on, we have 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and finally 100 or 100, which is 100 or 100. Note that like 16 and 17, which is 17, once again the S from sechs and AN from sieben are omitted for 60, 60 and 70, which is 70. All the remaining numbers between 40 and 100 are very intuitive and follow the same rule as before. For example, 63 is 63, 99 is 99, 56 is 56, and so on. Just like English, the number at the hundreds place is first, and the following two digits from 01 to 99 have the same rules as before. However, unlike English, in German everything is clapped together to make just the one word. So, 101 is 101, 102 is 102, 103 is 103, 111 is 111, 112 is 112, 125 is 125, 199 is 199, 200 is 200, 600 is 600, 999 is 999, and finally 1000 or 1000, which is 1000. 2000 is simply 2000, 6000 is simply 6000, and 9999 is 9999, and so on. Before we cover the larger numbers, you need to know two simple concepts. One of them is scales and the other is separators. Scales are of two types, short scale and long scale. What makes them different is their naming convention. In case of short scale, 1,000,000 is a million, 1,000 million is a billion, 1,000 billion is a trillion, 1,000 trillion is a quadrillion, 1,000 quadrillion is a quintillion, 1,000 quintillion is a sextillion, and so on. However, in the long scale, this factor is a million instead of 1,000. So a million million is a billion, a million billion is a trillion, and a million trillion is a quadrillion, and so on and so forth. The intermediate thousands have the ending IARD, replacing the ION ending from the nearest lower scale. So 1,000 million is a milliard, 1,000 billion is a billiard, 1,000 trillion is a trilliard, and so on, making 1,000 milliard a billion, 1,000 billiard a trillion, and so on. Most European countries, including Germany, use the long scale. Note that the short and long scale have no difference whatsoever for numbers lesser than a milliard. So that was about the scales. Coming to the decimal separators, the period or the dot is used as the decimal separator in most Asian, Australian and North American countries. The comma is the thousands separator. However, in most of Europe, Africa and South America, it's the opposite. The comma is the decimal separator and the dot or the period is the thousands separator. So is the case in German as well. The comma is the decimal separator and the period is the thousands separator. So 1000 will be 1.000 and 100,000 will be 100.000 and so on, with decimal values, if any, separated by a comma, and that's all about the separators. So, using the long scale and the period as the thousands separator, we have 10.000, 123.000, 999.999. So let's assume that 999.999 has three parts. The first and third are the same as 999, and the red dot marks 1,000. When it comes to a million, marked by a blue dot, we have x millionen if x is anything more than 1, and simply x million if x is 1. When x is 1, use the word million, miljarde, billion, billiarde, and so on. For x more than 1, use millionen, miljarden, billionen, billiarden, and so on and so forth. Let's have a look at some examples for better clarity. Here we have 1 million, 123.123.123, 2 Milliarden, 600.000, 9 Billionen 1, 12 Billiarden 211 Millionen. Pause the video, try to read this big number in German by yourself. It goes like this: 999 Trillionen, 999 Billiarden, 999 Billionen, 999 Milliarden, 999 Millionen, 999.999. I'm sure you got that right. If you didn't, keep practicing. It is not challenging at all if you know the 16 unique numbers in German. You can now understand and use literally every German number, starting from 0 to trillionen, quadrillionen, and whatnot. Regardless of whether you seek a certificate or not, feel free to attempt the test in the description of this video. Don't forget to use your correct unique ID. If you haven't already registered, the registration link is in the description as well. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Use our email ID for any queries, suggestions, requests, or anything at all for that matter. Have a nice day. See you in the next class. Tschüss.